Hey guys, so I wanted to do a little pick a pile reading for you. This video is time-stamped, so after the intro, if you feel you know which pile you're drawn to, then you can go ahead and skip to that portion of the video. Also, I'll put the timestamps and the info in the description below. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. That way I know what you guys want to see and you don't miss out any of the content I put out. So yeah, helps all of us. Helps me build the channel in general. And then this is a general reading for the collective. It's pretty much what you need to hear right now. So whenever you watch this video, so if that's this month, next month, months later, years later, whatever, that's when you need to hear it. And then, so it's for the collective. So take what resonates, leave the rest. And so just go ahead and focus right now on that question as far as what you need to hear right now, or ask Spirit what you need to hear right now. And then keeping that in mind, you're just going to pick the pile that you're most drawn to. So it could be the crystal, it could be cards, it could just be energetically you feel like this area right here or that area or whatever. This area, this area, this area, this area. There we go. There's no bias. And then, as I said, the timestamps will be in the description below. So let's get started. I'm going to give you a minute. This is pile 1, pile 2, pile 3, and pile 4. Hey, pile 1. So if you chose pile 1, here's pile 1. It has appreciated jasper. I don't know if you can see it. It's basically, it helps with the root chakra and sacral chakra, and it's really good for grounding. It's helpful for those going through any emotional crisis, and it's also said to bring stability and healing to those with sexual trauma. But yeah, it's also good for communication with animals. It's a protective stone. So it gives you a feeling that, you know, you're being cared for and kind of nurtured. It's really good for that. And it protects travelers, including astral travel as well. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and put this here. So how do we do this? I think I'm going to start with the regular tarot. Yeah, okay. So, and I don't read reversals, so. High Priestess. Here, I'll show you the cards too. Judgment card. And the Six of Pentacles. It's an interesting depiction of it. So, the High Priestess, the Judgment card, and the Six of Pentacles. So basically, High Priestess is intuitive knowledge, but also balancing. So it's balancing what you are aware of, what, you know, book knowledge and things you understand to be true logic, and then also with your intuition and your conscience. So kind of your gut feeling. So, but it's a matter of balancing it and being at that place to where you're able to see that. And then see that, when I say see that, I mean, see the possibilities between both sides of that. For some reason, I feel like saying it that way. So maybe someone needs to hear that way. Judgment card. It's also a matter of, it's basically forgiving things in the past, forgiving so you can move forward. So forgiving, letting that create a new energy to basically shift you forward, to heal you and to allow you to come forward. Ouch. But there's a lot of like it's forgiving and letting go, and also not allowing the past stuff to hold you back, even if that doesn't have to do with forgiveness, even if that's just past mentalities or paradigms that no longer serve you. It's kind of letting go and basically allowing yourself to come new and to become new and to, I don't know, come to this new place. It's not always that way, but I really feel like that's kind of saying that for you, this pile, for pile 1, you guys. And then the 6 of Pentacles. A lot of times I see a give and take, but in this I really feel it's more like a giving. But this card feels different. It doesn't feel like it usually does. Like the one in this deck feels different than... So let me just go through. Right offhand, I feel like, okay, so the High Priestess is, you know, going through the scroll and going through stuff, and it's almost, I feel like a waiting, like not a waiting, but a waiting, where it's like she's waiting on something. It's like she has the ears to hear, basically. She's attentive in that way. She understands that part of herself. And it's funny is like the same like position and mentality here, I feel there as well. So it's like this waiting on again. And it's not waiting like waiting, but like just being open, like being ready to hear, ready to listen. And like almost like he's got his chest out and like, I don't know, there's like this stance. And that one doesn't feel the same, like the body doesn't feel the same in the position, but something about with the hair and everything, like it feels very similar to me. So I feel like there's this not surrender, but it's like there's like a humility in it, almost like this attitude that you know the other person. Or these 2 cards, the energy coming from that is like, you know there's something coming to you, there's something for you, you have that faith that you're where you are for a reason. And it's funny because in these guys it's like that same mentality that it's like, it doesn't matter if, I feel like saying this, it doesn't matter if this person wants to give or if the people in your life are very giving or not. It's almost like you understand the power of the universe, that things are gonna happen for you. And it's not a matter of because you got approval from the people around you, or, you know, that you're, you know, trying to approve or trying to be approved by them. No, it's literally like, I feel like there's a higher power in this. There's a focus is on the higher power. The focus is on knowing that it doesn't matter if people are for you. You know that the universe is for you. Like even in this, it's like they're coming out of graves and like they're literally defying physics, defying the laws, not gravity, but defying the laws of nature. And because they know, it's like they're responding to a higher power. So I really feel like for you guys, for pile 1, you're in this state of just, and this might be like this whole picture, or this is how it's coming to. So it's like you've come from here, for some of you, for one group of you, you've been here, and this is how you take it within yourself. And it's, you see both sides and you understand the value of the unseen as well as the seen. And then it comes here to where you're able to be called out to defy the laws of nature. You're being called out to help in healing, or basically to be trusting in miracles, whether it's for you or for others. You're coming to a place to where your faith and your stance in life, in this place that you've been as you've grown in yourself spiritually, is something that is starting to be able to move mountains. And by move mountains, I mean, yes, it can move mountains physically, but also it's like people. I really feel like this is more relational, like it's really relational. So it's moving mountains in people. So it's basically, you know, bringing the dead to life. It's healing people, healing the sick, healing all that. So a lot of, I mean, some of you may be, you know, healers in general yourself, and intuitive, obviously, and, you know, empaths, maybe there's a lot as well, because it's very relational and intuitive based. But again, it's like you come from a place, your hands are already open. Like there's no, oh, you need to open your hands and you need to surrender. No, you're already there. And it doesn't matter, because I keep seeing this guy doesn't look very happy about it. He's very, not happy, but he's very stoic. And sometimes those energies in people are hard to read, and that can be, to some people, that can be disheartening, or, you know, can like throw people off and make them start second guessing. But you're not doing that. I feel like what I really saw when I first put these cards down, I saw the word neon right here. I don't know what that's for, if that's for anybody, but regardless, it's really bright, like neon colors, vibrant, and there's like this brightness, and it's not like it's actually physically bright to us. Like when we look here, this isn't the brightest place, back here it is. But I really feel like this is a matter of you going beyond the physical, going beyond seeing just what the people around you can provide, or the people around you, if they'll like you. You're beyond that. You know, if the universe likes you, so everything's gonna work out. And so that's kind of, I feel like, what you guys are dealing with, pile one, which is awesome. That's super cool. So yeah, so it's basically, I mean, this could be in your job. This could be, I mean, any situation though, because this is the only card that came that wasn't a major arcana. So yeah, but yeah, so 6 of Pentacles. So it could be finances, jobs, material understanding, but it's not necessarily. For some of you, this is, like I said, this is very relational. So this could be in relationships, or this could be just that mentality is something you're adapting into your relational patterns, or you're adapting it even into your financial dealings or dealings with the material. Let's go ahead and do this one. I mean, again, it's the same thing. It's like there's this glowing right here. Even like, it's not a key here, but it almost reminds me like how this key's here. It almost looks similar, like really kind of similar. Here, I'll show you. I mean, it doesn't look exact, so I mean, I'm not saying that, but it's just that shape is kind of similar. It's not exact though. It just makes me think of it. So, but yeah, it's the idea that like the key is the spirit, God, universe. The key is trusting that it's not about waiting on making sure that everyone around you is okay with you, or making sure that everyone around you is worshiping you. That's not what it's about. That's literally about knowing that you're already loved and allowing love to pour out from you. And therefore also coming in, trusting in the universe for the provisions based off that. And when you do that, that does pour out more. So I kind of got sidetracked there. There's more to that, but I don't think it was, yeah. And then it's like this key is like floating in this ball, and it's to there, but it's like, it's again a matter of like defying physics, defying the natural laws. And it's like, here's all the natural, here's all this, but then this is like this space where it's magical. And that's kind of the idea, like that's where the key is. It's in that magical space, and it's in that space that you're able to access, and you're manifesting from, and you're trusting the universe has your back, literally. It's funny, like the parallel between this card and this card, even like, again, not exact, but just there's a lot of parallels in it. So it's like her book, her reaching in that way is like having this. She already has it. She has both sides. She has the physical, and then she has the spiritual. And the spiritual is opening doors, has the key to unlock things in the physical. Again, unlocking the provisions, unlocking all this. So that's what you're doing. Like, you're literally doing that. And I'll put all these decks in the description below as well. Yeah, this one for sure. Yeah, again, it's like you could be focusing on waiting, you could be focusing, and you might be waiting, but I feel like there's an element of two realms. It's not even two realms. It's like you can go under there, you have this here, there's this here, and it's like, but her feet are down here dangling and her body's up here. So it's like you're not skirting between, but you're I forget what the word is. Excuse me, about to sneeze. Excuse me. But you're kind of like going back and forth between two realms. And it's the Ten of Pentacles. And the thing like that too, the Ten of Pentacles is about, you've created this thing, you've built up this thing, you know, like a business or whatever. It could just be a system, something that, you know, healing system. It could be anything in your life. But you've built this thing up, but usually it is finances or material. You've built it up, and now you're coming to a place to where you pass it on to others. It's like a legacy. You pass on the legacy. So that's kind of like, in doing this, you're able to be this person and that, but because you're able to be this person, you can also be able to be that person. I mean, not necessarily in negativity, because like I said, it doesn't have to be negativity, but I was just saying for some people, there's an element of you're looking beyond, even if there's negativity around you. So yeah, you're able to do that. You're able to pass on this legacy. You're able to share it as you uncover it, because you're uncovering it as that happens. Yes. Movement, choices, decisions. And some of you may feel like you have a decision to make. You may feel like you're on a bridge, and the bridge is normally for moving, and you're just kind of sitting there because you're between two different places. But you're in a really good place. It's just a matter of knowing which side, what part of you, what part of your giftings to utilize and to look at, to use in making your choices and seeing what you're looking at. Which is, again, that's kind of almost like the Magician card, where you have all the tools. I mean, even this, it's like you have all the tools. It's just a matter of how you use them or what you use when. Yeah, relationship, money. Yeah. I mean, I'd say this is probably like swords, because swords, air element. But then I'm not sure about this one, because this would be like plants, but plants would be more like earth, which would be the pentacles. So I don't know on that one. But regardless, you have choices, and you may sometimes feel like because you haven't made a choice yet, you might be kind of down on yourself sometimes, some of you. But no, you're seeing everything really clear light. And that's one thing I like on this, is the light is shining different colors from each one. So it's like permeating. So it's literally like you're seeing everything. I feel like for a lot of you, you're seeing what you're looking at correctly. You're seeing everything in its own light. It's not like you have rose-colored glasses on and you're seeing things wrong. No, you're seeing things for what they are. Their own energy. Like how this energy, now everything around it's green. This energy, everything around it. Like, so it's a really good, I like that. And then unexplained wonder. Yeah, there you go. You're not even like, I mean, some of you, this is like unexplained wonder. I mean, you can't explain why this is floating. I mean, unless there's a magnet, but that's not the case. It says magical blessings and miracles are occurring in your life. All your prayers are answered now. It says answered, comma, now, but I feel like it's like answered now. Like, I don't know why I felt like reading it that way. It's funny how these colors are like very similar to those two cards. And I really do feel like that is like, this is unexplained wonder. Like if you're coming up from the dead, coming up from graves, and you're helping people and you're doing it all together or whatever, there's an unexplained wonder in that. And it's like looking up, again, looking up, looking up, looking up, or, you know, it's this whole thing. But like I said, some of you do keep looking down and questioning. And you're like, well, this is down, but there's flowers there. So is this where I'm supposed to be? Or is this like, am I in the right place? Is this the wrong place? Like some of you have been doing that, but you just have to trust that you already know. Like you already know, and you have to basically trust the higher power, trust your intuition, trust the signs that you've already been given, obviously. Like, it's like, because he could be like, oh, what are you doing? You're facing away. You're not paying attention. Like, I imagine it like almost like scolding him. But instead, he's not getting distracted by that. He's looking to the light, and he's trusting that that's all that's needed. So it's like, yeah, you're kind of in that place where it's literally you're not focusing on the material, but rather knowing that where it's coming from. Okay. So I really hope that resonated. I think that's really encouraging. It sounds like you guys are doing really awesome, and you're growing from this place. Like this is what you had, and you're taking it and applying it, and it's just like expanding, and, you know, legacy. You're leaving a legacy. But some parts of leaving that legacy is being in a waiting period, is learning the value of each different color. So you might see them in different colors as they are. You might see them for what they really are. But then it's a matter of learning the value of that. So you might be, some of you might be in a state that you're in this waiting period because you're literally learning the value of this between this, or this versus this. And you're learning what all that means to you in your life, in all the decisions or anything like that. So, but yeah, so I hope that resonated. As always, be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. I'd love to hear from you guys. Hey, pile 2. So this is your pile if you chose pile 2. It has an angel aura quartz. I really like this one because it's like, so it's got the shine there, or the tourmaline or whatever. And then, but then on this side, it looks almost like sea foam, like you're looking in the water. Oh, I like this one. This like specific one too. It enhances communication, especially with your higher self and other dimensions. It's good for attracting luck and success. Of course, therefore, you know, it's known for enhancing intuition and psychic skills. It's really good to help relieve stress-related illnesses, such as anxiety, nervousness, and depression. It brings peace and tranquility. I feel like it's really uplifting. And then it activates the energy because it is a clear quartz base, so it activates the energy of other minerals and gemstones when you combine them. So it just works like quartz in that way. Yeah, it aids in connection, communication, and healing with the angels. Radiates positivity. So, okay. So, let's see, let's get started with your reading, pile 2. I usually like to start with the tarot cards. I think that's what I'll do. So the sun, here, I'll show you guys. I love the contrast of that card. The Empress. And I don't read reversals, so. And then 4 of Swords. Okay, so I know this isn't normally like a rejection card, Four of Swords, but I feel like some of you, there might be a group of you, because, okay, well, right off the bat, the sun is celebration, and it's celebration, but it's also the past and the present, and basically coming together, and basically, you know, all the gifts or the things you've learned from the past, you know, coming into now, and it, you know, growing things and making things better. So it's like a celebration, but it's growth. The Empress is creative energy, motherly. A lot of times it's the nurturing, but it's not nurturing, it's creative, it's creating something, but it's also the energy of wanting to nurture something that you've created to be its best potential. So it's like, it's almost not always a focus only on that, but that's another element of it that's very important. And it's not just creating something and leaving it, but literally like really that energy to want to nurture and grow things to its best potential. And then the Four of Swords is usually like awaiting, kind of like taking a break, but gaining your strength back. So it's like you understand you're still in battle or you're still dealing with stuff. And so you're not like ignoring it or anything, but you're just trying to get your strength. So, and this is a mental card. A lot of times it's mental or communication being swords. But as I was saying earlier, for some of you, there is a group of you, I feel like this swords mentality, either the state of swords of, okay, you need to take a break and get your energy back, you've been looking at as a failure or a rejection. So it's almost like, not a rejection, but rejection of yourself, almost like you still haven't won yet, or you still haven't conquered this. And so some of you may be beating up on yourself and either fighting the taking a break, or in this break are kind of, instead of allowing it to energize you, have kind of gone to a place of beating up on yourself and kind of torn yourself down, been tearing yourself down, being stuck in your head and the mental thoughts, or maybe sometimes verbal, you know, talking yourself down. And some of you, there might be some of you that it's like you might be growing and learning in certain things, but you might sometimes still have the habit of negative self-talk, and you tell yourself, oh, well, you're kind to other people, so it's okay, and this is just something, you know, over time, it's going to take time. You keep telling yourself, and it's almost like an excuse to stay in that mentality of treating yourself that way. But when you do that, then you as yourself respond to it. So it's like, if you tell yourself you're stupid and you tell yourself all these bad things, then you start either acting like that, or you start acting like somebody that's that down that really can't get up. So I feel like some of you have stayed in this place and have used it to berate yourself. Either, you know, verbal self-talk or stuck in your head. And it's not been what it's supposed to be. It's not been this revive you so you can get back in. I just felt that a lot. Usually I go more in order, but that's really strong to me. Especially, I feel like you kind of put this pressure that you want this Empress energy. You want to be like, it's like you've come to the sun place, this place where you feel like you're expected to bring everything back. Like I said, to bring things from the, you know, culminate all your things, the lessons you've learned, everything you've come from. Okay, this is awesome. You can just bring it all and make it all, you know, show yourself, prove to yourself, not because you don't believe it, but like it's almost like a testament of yourself, of where you come from and like how amazing you are and how amazing, you know, what the universe has for you right now. And it's like you've come to this place, and then you come to it and you're like, okay, well, here I want to create, you know, I want to create something, and I want to nurture something. And especially this, it's like she's giving this, but like this person is, the body language is very closed. It's more a scared closed, but some of you may be feeling rejected in not being able to teach people. So if you're trying to create something and you're trying to present it to people, and or even teach people, because I feel like there's a teacher group here, but if you're trying to present something and you feel rejected in this creative place, like you've come to the success and now you're trying to bring it out and present it, and then you feel rejected, or you feel like you're not received like you expected to be received, because look, this is like glowing, it should be seen as a miracle, and this person's just like holding back, you know, pulled back, you know, and you're like, and especially it's like they might be afraid, but you're coming from this place of there's nothing to be afraid of, like, come on, let's dig in. And in that, I think you might have taken a break, because maybe some of you might have dealt with this for a while, and you've taken a break, and in that break you've kind of just berated yourself. You've kind of went into this mentality in yourself, not saying that this person is negative, but it's just you've gone to that fear place in yourself, and not because you're in fear, but as you berate yourself and you berate yourself and you berate yourself, you've kind of been going backwards from this, and at least in your mind mentality wise, to where it's like you're so much further along than that. But as you hold on to the mentality or the familiarity of that mentality of berating yourself, of I need to prove this, not I need to prove this, but I need to pay for this, I need to pay for this, I need to suffer for this. Like, say some of you guys might be dealing with guilt issues from way back before. I feel like there is a group of you maybe, and you're just kind of like berating yourself, like, okay, well, you know, this hasn't happened because of this, and I need to do this. And it's almost like, even if you don't actually believe you need to pay for your sins, or you need to pay for the wrongdoings in order to get out of it, it's almost like subconsciously you've held on to that like, in order to see good in your life, you have to be the payment for it. You have to be the sacrifice. So I really feel like some of you have taken this break into a self-sacrifice mode, but not in a good way, but rather in a self-defeating way. It's funny too, because it's like, I mean, like I said, I know this is here, but I was trying to see the colors, but it's not making sense to me. I mean, because actually this is a fully gradual, like this to this to this. So it's literally like showing, especially like right here, and then this dress, and then like, it's almost like if you add yellow in right here, you'll get this whole picture. And that's kind of what the sun is. It's like add the yellow to the sun, to this, and then you get this, and then this. And it's like, part of you, okay, what I feel like that's saying for some of you is this is just your journey. This is what you're on. No, you don't need to stay in that mentality, but because you're not there, because you're still growing and you're still healing in areas, that's natural for you to feel that. So another thing is some of you, you've been doing that to yourself, berating yourself, and then you've been berating yourself for berating yourself. So it's like, it's a mentality of understanding the natural course of things, and understanding that you're in a place in your healing, and beating yourself up for not being healed enough isn't going to heal you, because you are actually healed. You're where you're supposed to be. You're actually supposed to be resting. You're supposed to be taking a break and going back into it, but you're supposed to be taking more a hermit mentality of, okay, let me look at the past, and let me look at the future, and let me see where I want to go, and let me get strength. And this time, let me let that light up my path, not let me berate myself and be stuck in my head. But again, that's natural, because that's where you are in your healing. That's all you've known. So really, like, I feel like for some of you, you already know what to do here. You already know not to berate yourself. Like I said, you already know these things, but it's just out of familiarity that you're doing it. But I feel like it's almost like you need to take your own advice. Like you would tell somebody else not to treat themselves the way you've treated yourself. It's almost like she's giving it. It's like, well, she has it. She knows it already. And it's like, you already know that. So you need to start, diving in a heart of love and loving yourself, but diving in and taking the advice, or looking at it and be like, would I tell somebody else this? Like, if you talk down to yourself and be like, would I think this would help somebody else? Does this actually help? Start questioning and looking at how things are looking, because this light is shining in your life, and this is where you're supposed to be. And that's why it's shedding light on this. That's why it's showing you right now that things aren't in you the way it's supposed to be, because you're taking this place to a bad place. This state of being, you're taking it to a bad place in your mind. But the thing is that's what the light is, shedding light on all those things in you, all those shadows. So really it's a shadow work situation, but I feel like some of you may have gone to a place of trying to do shadow work and just gotten stuck berating yourself. Not all of you, but there might be a group of you that did that. Or did it through shadow work. Wow, that's really heavy. Okay, so let's do this. Haha. I love how these cards like go with things. Yeah. It's like you have this picture, you're trying to put this picture of yourself together. You're trying to put this puzzle together of yourself. But you have a mask on for yourself. You're not even seeing like yourself like in the correct light. What's funny is here, I'll show you this. But you see how like each hot air balloon is holding a puzzle piece? So it's a journey. It's not something you're going to figure out right now, but you need to allow yourself to actually do the resting, the healing, loving resting here that you need to do before you come back. Because this isn't a you'll get it right away, and this isn't a expect that you should already have this. This is with each puzzle piece, with each season, you're going to get the puzzle piece to actually see who you really are, to see what you really look like. But you don't actually fully know, because it's with years of, some of you guys, years of trauma, years of just, paradigms that aren't correct, that aren't for your highest good, other people's paradigms, because a lot of times people will put their values and their paradigms of how they live life, and they'll, that's how we are brought up as children a lot of times, and it's like that might work for parents or that might work for other people, but no one else can be you as well as you can be you. So the only person that can be an authentic you is you. So you can't take advice from someone else on how to be you, because they'll only tell you how they're them, and that's not who you are. But you have to give yourself time. You have to trust that this is a process. This isn't a you need to be here right now. Just because you're giving this doesn't mean that that's where you should be. Not that's where you should be, but that this should come easily. Okay, and some of you guys, this is a meditation place, and you're trying to meditate, and you've been beating yourself up, because when you go into a meditation state, you can't, like, you haven't been able to, or you've gotten distracted, or you've started thinking negative things, or, there's something, or like even your dream state, maybe, you've had nightmares and you've had things like that, and you've been beating yourself up for it and kind of making it worse, instead of just trusting that this is where you are right now because of the evidence, and that's evident of the healing that's needed when this light comes in, that suddenly now everything's showing things for what they are. Because before you were able to sit in this state and it was a bad place, but you just brought, and I'm not saying you personally, but I'm just saying, like, when we sit in this place of diseased mentality, of, basically like a striving mentality, a scarcity mentality, and we might have been able to do it years ago before and do it perfectly fine and not think anything of it, but because that's all we thought we had. Now that you know more, now that you know better, doing that is hurting your soul. Like, it's hurting you. Whereas before it didn't hurt in that way, or you weren't aware of that hurt. And sometimes you might have even spread it to others, but that's where you were. That's all you knew. So a lot of you, it's a matter of getting over that, forgiving the past, forgiving yourself for maybe doing that, spreading it to others, and allowing yourself to just be where you are right now. Be where you're called to be right now, and meditate in that. And then Nine of Swords. Yeah, Nine of Swords. You know, the Nine of Swords too isn't just like people say it's nightmares and this and that. It is. It's nightmares, worries, fears, all that. But it's also a matter of, it's like almost like you just put something out there and now you're questioning how it's getting how it's getting received. And it's like your mind is attacking you, like, why is this not getting received? How is this getting received? So those of you, there's some of you that this is literally, that's what it is. You've put yourself out there. You've been giving, you've been trying to teach, or you've been trying to create something and share with others. And you've gone to this place of beating yourself up or questioning, and why wasn't this received? And then tearing yourself down as you must be the reason it wasn't received, rather than maybe it's not the right time, or maybe this person is going to receive it. It's just, it's going to need to marinate in them more, you know, that type of thing. So it's like you've come to a place of, why isn't this received? Why wasn't this received? And beating up on yourself as you've stayed at this place because of that. Like, it's so, yeah. This one, temptation, there you go. But again, it's like, it's funny because like it's holding that, and it's a key. It's a key. Here, I'll show you. It's a key, but it looks like a button too. So it's like, it's almost like that whole idea of like being tempted just to push the button. Let me just try it. Let me just try it. Let me try it. And that whole idea is so, because of that pattern of beating up on yourself, of that being all you know, some of you are like, you may need to address those things that you've done wrong, or you may need to address the, you know, where you are versus where you should be in your mind, or, you know, the shadow. You may need to address that, but it's not lit up. It doesn't even look like it's for him there. Like this part's lit up, but that's because I feel like he's seeing it as a button. Like this is how I see it for your reading, at least. So it's like, you may need to address this, but where you are right now, it's not how you're supposed to address it. Like I said, you're supposed to address this stuff, address what you're trying to address right now, when it comes to you needing to be in hermit mode, of, you know, surveying the past and future and things like that. Not right now when you're supposed to be resting. Because right now it's just a temptation, just a button. Let me just stay in here. Let me stay in here because this is all I know. And it just keeps you there, and it disguises itself. It's a button, but it looks like a key. It disguises itself as a key, as something you need. So that's why you just keep going in it and staying in it, as what you've done, because you're trying to figure it out, because you don't want to do that, or you don't want to deal with that again, or because you don't want to repeat your past pains and issues in the past. So again, it's a matter of forgiving. It's a matter of going to a healing place here instead of using this time to do that. Change direction with ease. This is a time for change, shape-shifting, or your soul's evolution. Exactly. It is a time to reconsider what you are wanting. You may be in for a surprise. Again, yeah, it's like if you're here and your focus is this, you're not going to get the rest that normally would be coming from here. Instead, you're going to come out of that drained and angry, maybe at yourself or others or whatever, but drained in general, energetically. And this is literally saying this is a time for change. You're here to change. You're here to grow, not to change and berate yourself because you didn't change enough, but literally just shapeshift, just naturally, just in that place when you surrender and you let go. Then it becomes an actual rest. It becomes a getting your strength back. But part of that is reconsidering what you're wanting. Are you wanting just to deal with this surface issue and just to keep pushing and, you know, to beat yourself up? Or are you wanting to start seeing yourself in a loving light? You know, some of you guys may need to start practicing affirmations and things like that to really talk yourself up and to, you know, cut out that negative self-talk. It might be hard at first if it's a pattern, or even, you know, worrying, the negative worrying and all that. You know, nothing comes from any of that. It just tears you down so that you're less ready for the next situation at hand or for the next step. And this is saying literally, like, you don't need any of that. You just change direction with ease. So again, it's all the same colors, those ones. Okay. So I hope that helped you guys. You guys, I mean, you don't need to beat up on yourself, and you don't need to, you know, fight yourself for where you are versus where you want to be or where you think you should be. You know, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're actually supposed to be doing that resting. But it's just a different heart. You're supposed to see it, and you're supposed to have a different focus. Maybe some of you, it might help to start journaling, or if you already do journal, maybe ask some different questions. Try to focus on positive things, or just start trying to seek some solutions rather than necessarily trying to go into the past of negative things, because those are things you do need to address. But I don't believe it's not this season. It'll come up. It'll come up later. It'll show itself later. But right now, you're kind of trying to force, some of you are forcing healing in an area that you're not ready to see clearly in order to heal it. And instead, what you are being asked to do, you are actually ready to start learning. And that's just that positive mindset. Like, you can also do guided meditations. You can start, you know, you can do chakra healing. You can even find videos on YouTube with different things, different chakra healing meditations, or the music videos, the tones and stuff. Like, there's so many different things, so many different resources. But all in all, you just need to bring yourself to a place that's quicker to love yourself, or quicker to not defend yourself, but to stick up for yourself to yourself, than to berate yourself, if that makes sense. I hope that made sense. It's kind of, yeah. Okay, pile 3. So if you were pile 3 and you picked this pile, you picked the Turritella agate crystal. And it increases the chance of success with fertility treatments. It promotes composure and maturity, and helps you avoid postnatal depression. But it's also a really comforting stone in general. It's got the, I don't know if you can see it, it's like the fossilized snail patterns. There you go. It's all from that. It's a record keeper crystal, so it remembers, it's helpful for remembering past lives and accessing wisdom of past worlds. It helps with fatigue, and it also helps with has like a strong connection to the earth and animal kingdom. It's also said to protect against danger and aids travelers in their journeys. It's really smooth. Oops. I don't think any. Yeah, it's smooth still. So yeah, let's get started with your reading, pile 3. I love this deck, but it's got a lot going on with it. So usually I don't choose it. Like, I don't like to choose it or like to use it for other people because it's so much going on. Queen of Wands, I'll show these as well up close. Page of Coins and 3 of Swords. So Queen of Wands. Page of Coins. I don't know if this shined or anything because I know it's kind of shiny, so I'll make sure you didn't like just get glare. There you go. And 3 of Swords. So Queen of Wands is, it's basically influence, but in like creative realms and with passion and of passion too. And so it's that kind of energy though, like this creative, passionate, artistic energy. It's a very strong, intense go as well, but there's a lot in it. Page of Coins is generally, it's either like a messenger or the potential for financial or material prospect coming up. And then Three of Swords is grief, heartbroken, but it's also that concept of like, it's kind of being down, but like ready to move on. And you're not necessarily feeling like you're ready to move on, but it's like, it's kind of reminding you like that's, you know, there's better ahead, or, you know, from this, you know, you've gained strength, or, you know, you're on a growing cycle. Not a growing cycle, but a growth cycle. So altogether, I'm going to look at these intuitively though too. Okay, so normally the Queen of Wands isn't necessarily like a secretive energy, but I feel like for some of you there may be a group, because this feels very secretive, there may be a group of you that have this Queen of Wands energy, this, you know, go, and trying to influence others around you to do it though, and trying to influence others through creativity and passion and things like that. But you may be kind of secretive about it. You may not be showing that that's where your heart's coming from. There's a very duplicitous nature. Even this cat in the background, I don't know if you can see it. The cat looks more like an owl, like in the face. So it's a very like, you're doing one thing, but looking differently. So, and it's not saying like duplicitous, like, I'm not saying like it's not ill intention necessarily for all of you or any of you, I don't know. The main focus though is that, yeah, you're doing one thing, you have one heart, but what you're showing on the outside is different. Maybe holding back a little because she's holding everything. There's also gathering. So you might be trying to gather stuff in doing this. So this energy you're coming with, you're like trying to go forward or trying to, you know, influence the environment around you, influence the people around you. But you're very like, I almost want to say some of you are very keep to yourself, and not keep to yourself, but keep your cards to yourself, like not share what you're doing and what your intentions are. But in reality, it's like there's this potential for this prosperity, and it's like you're holding on to this. I feel like for some of you, like this gung-ho going, like if this is a Queen of Wands, you know, gung-ho going, and like not going, but that energy, it would lead to this. But when you're doing this, it's almost like you're taking it and you're like, okay, I just need to hold it for myself. It's almost like the Four of Pentacles, where it's like, you know, let me keep this for myself. I can't let go. You know, I have this comfort, and you know, and this whole idea of what you have in the moment is all there is. And I'm not saying that's what you're thinking, but that's the mentality. When you're not willing to release and take on new things that are coming your way, better things in your path, you're adopting the mentality of, okay, well, what I can see right now is the best I can get. So I really feel for some of you, for pile 3, you guys are, some of you are, that's what's keeping you from getting to this. That's funny too, because this is like, I don't know what that is. It's so weird. I mean, here's the limes or whatever, lemons. Oh, is that a juicer? That's a juicer. She's juicing them. Okay. But it makes me think of a flying saucer. Like that's the first thing I saw, was this little mini flying saucer, and she's like trying to hold it down. But again, it's like, it's kind of the same thing. Like I feel like it mirrors that, where it's like, for those of you that's what you're trying to do, I feel like that's just giving more into that like this whole energy of, and maybe that's what you're trying to do. Maybe this is the message. Maybe you're trying to be the messenger. You're trying to be this. You're trying to influence others with your message, but you're holding yourself down. For, you know, some of you are holding yourself down and like dimming your light. And like, and some of you, it's in the heart of, okay, let me hold on to what's here because I'm afraid to let go and release and trust that better will come. But others of you, it's also dimming your light and holding back and being like, I'm not going to show you my cards and I'm going to keep them myself because I value myself, but rather I'm not going to show you my cards because I'm afraid of what you might think. So there's there's a huge like feeling of holding back here, even though you have this energy. And I feel like you're trying to operate as the Page of Coins with the Queen of Wands background, not background, but internally. It's like, you know, like a volcano, like right there, but you're like holding on everything. And this card can be read so many different ways, other ways, but this is what I'm seeing for you personally in your reading, intuitively. And then, you know, she's juicing it. So for those of you that this is like a juicer situation and it's like you're trying to suck out everything from this opportunity, and it's like, again, if this is a path and there's more coming and you're trying to suck out everything, that's really great if you try to get everything you can out of this moment. But you can't be trying to get everything out of this moment that you can with the heart and the mentality of what if it's never this good again. And so there's an element of you need to check your heart and see, you know, what is this coming from? Is this from, I need to hold everything to me and I need to keep what I have because I don't want to ever lose it? Or is it okay, I want the best out of this and I'm growing and moving forward? Because for some of you, it is really, that's what's holding you back. It's like you have the sunflower and you have all this, and I say the sunflower, but that's crazy. It's got like a club in it. But it's like you have this brightness, all this fire and this energy, but you're like holding it back. And then, yeah, it's a grief situation. I mean, generally, you know, like I said, Three of Swords is grief and coming to a place where, you know, you're basically being called, shown to move forward and not be stuck in that, not be planted in it. Because it's almost like it's like tempting, like to fall out and anchor down. It's like, no, you don't want to anchor in that grief. You can use it and you can get out that emotional expression and you can, you know, have a good cry and you can get the stuff out. But you don't want to stay there. You don't want to plant your roots there. And some of you, you're trying to squeeze the moment, squeeze everything you can out of it because that's, you know, familiar and that's what you have. But it's out of a heart of grief of you don't want to let this past go or this go. And this is in the past and this is something that's ended and you're holding on to it, trying to squeeze everything out of it. And you don't want to do that because you don't want to anchor yourself here because you have more to come. You have better things coming. It's funny. It's like, out of this card, it's weird. The most alive is the I think it's what, like a siren or mermaid. I can't remember. But basically the whole like myth or the whole story of like how, you know, they put the woman in the front of the boat and it's, you know, I think she's like supposed to be the siren and she's supposed to ward off stuff. I don't remember that whole mythology. But it's just weird how she's the most alive looking one. I mean, she looks sad and she looks down or whatever, but she's facing the audience. So there's an element of like, she's really aware. And this one's broken down, but this is the one taking all the brunt of the hits. Like if anything was to happen to the boat, it hits first from the front. So it's this mentality of you're hiding yourself. Some of you have been doing it that way. Some of you are hiding yourself like that because, like I said, you're afraid of the rejection, but you're also afraid that if you put yourself out there, you're gonna get hit. You're gonna feel like this. And so you kind of put like a decoy out there. You know, you put a decoy out there of yourself. And it's not that, like, it's not wrong of you per se, but it's not leading to your growth. Because instead you're not able to interact directly in these situations, and you're not able to directly connect or feel this journey that you're on, because it's a false part of you that's taking it. You're going at it with this energy, with Queen of Wands, but you're hiding your Queen of Wands. For some of you, you're hiding it. You're trying to juice it, but it's like, it's with that mentality of, well, I want to stay here. Okay, let's keep going. Let's do this one first. Yeah, wow, okay. I'll show you this picture. Okay, so it's interesting because she has everything in her hair, and it's like she has a paintbrush in her hair. She has a, is that mandolin? I don't remember. Instrument. She has a feather. She has a statue. She has, or a bust, but she has a paint palette thing. She has these masks, more paintbrush, and it's like all this stuff in her hair, and it's like she's standing in front of the picture. So it's like she's making herself a picture, when in reality she's real. Just like you're making yourself as, oh, the decoy is you, when in reality you're so much more than that. And that's not all you are. Plus, again, just like this, carrying everything in her hair. And it's like, well, I don't think you want a paintbrush and a paint palette in your hair and all this other stuff in your hair. Like, it's the same mentality, at least with this reading, of like just trying to hold on to everything and trying to keep it close and trying to take like a pretty picture of it. Not pretty, because like I said, this is, some of you guys have been through grief, but trying to take a familiar picture of it so it's workable, so it's all in one place. And it's like, there's so much more for you. It doesn't have to look like this picture that you've always known. Let me see her tattoo. Okay, well, it's blue, so I can't tell, but I think it looks like koi fish, but they're blue, which isn't the typical. Which, I mean, symbolically, let's say it's koi fish, and then, you know, blue, and they're not, I don't think they're typically blue. So, again, it's like showing one thing, but being another. But again, I don't think this is in a ill-meaning way. It's literally out of trying to protect your heart, but you're not going to grow until you start trusting and letting go and trusting that there is better out there. It's funny too, because she's holding this picture, and it's, you know, Adam and God in the painting in you know, I think Michelangelo, yeah. But regardless, it's still, it's connection. It's like divine connection, but it can also be seen as connection. And that's what I'm saying, is you're holding this picture of connection, this picture of what's familiar to you, because that's all you've known, or not all you've known, but that's, you know, where you've been for so long. But there's so much more. You don't have to exist just in that. The star. Yeah, there's hope. You don't have to do that. Here, I'll show you. So the star card normally is a matter of following good omens and following signs and following, you know, things you've been shown in the past as towards like blessings and things to come, and, you know, directions. And even when things look hard, this is like a hunting we will go. So it's really like hunting for that positive, hunting for it. So you're holding on to this old, but really it's a matter of, I think this is like, for a lot of you, I think you're basically supposed to quit holding on to the old, and not old, but holding on to in that mentality of this is all that there is, and this is the best it's going to get, and really let go and be willing to not seek necessarily, but put yourself out there. So this is like, it's a skull, and it's got this crown or whatever. Yeah, I think it's got like a knight's thing. But this just keeps making me think of a spoon right here. So it's like, I think the idea of like spoon fed. Like it's like, sometimes the easiest way isn't necessarily the best for growth wise. For some of you, not all of you have to hear that right now. But some of you, like, you've been being spoon fed this so much and you're holding on to it, and it's been hindering your growth because you've decided, being so comfortable in that situation, that that's the best it gets, or that you are defined by that situation. And it's like say this is a spoon, and the spoon like is like, okay, your food you already have. Well, a hunting will go is saying like, I'm gonna get out more. So this is literally telling you, like, have confidence that there's actually more out there, and you don't just have to eat. Like, it's almost like, say this was a spoon. I know it's not, but this is how I'm seeing it. Say this is a spoon, and there's like this, and it's like, you know, eating bare bones. Like, I mean, I know we're not eating people, but it's that whole idea of like trying to get meat off of bones that are like, there's like hardly any left. And it's like, no, just go hunting and you're going to find more. You don't have to take the crumbs anymore. There's better for you. You don't have to take the crumbs. There's more. Harmony. Yeah. Which is funny too, because then like you got this hand here, like I showed, and then that connection. But I do feel like with this, there's a disconnect, because when you're in this mentality of I need to hold back, even if something, not hold back, but hold on to everything from the past or from, you know, what you know only. When something does come, there's a disconnect. There's like this, like, because I don't know if you see, but like her face, like she doesn't look very trusting, and she's like, there's actually disharmony in that is what I see. So if you want the harmony, if you want the good part of this card, the Lover's card, Lover's card is all about choices, like the choice in which path you're taking. But if you want that good, you're going to have to quit holding on to the idea that your old situation is who you were. Because you're more than that. Even if that was a part of your life, even if that was a great part of your life, even if that was a blessing, that's not the entirety of who you are, or what you're capable of, or what is for you in this life. So it's really like there's a mentality of, if you're holding on like this, then when something does come in, you're holding on so much that it's like, okay, not trusting, you're not letting go, you're not actually opening your heart when you're doing that, and something better comes. Facing your fears. Look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. Exactly. So it says, look for ways to strengthen your connection to the universe and others. Doesn't say keep hold on everybody. No, it's saying others. So it's saying strengthen your connection. It's not about focusing on how valuable the last person was or valuable the last situation was. It's literally saying you are the one to grow and strengthen, and then your connection to others, focusing on like you, the you in that, will grow and will be fruitful and will be good. But you have to face your fears first. You have to face your fears of that's all that there is. You have to face your fears that you only have the now and not later. Stay peaceful and calm in the knowing of who you are. So yeah, your peace and your calm, your strength is who you are. Not in holding everything you can from the past. Not in making sure you have a decoy to keep you safe. No, you are safe in you. So, sorry. I hope that resonated for you guys, pile 3. But yeah, so, wait, let's see. Wow, okay. So wands would be creativity, passion. Coins is financial, material things, and Swords is mental, thoughts, verbal. So, and a lot of you, like I said, this is you putting a decoy out, but this is a mentality. So in your head, some of you may be seeing it as this is what's necessary in order for you to survive or to feel home, because sometimes our heartbreak is our home. Even though it hurts, it's all we knew. So some of you, there might be some of you that this heartbreak is from a long time ago, and you've built your life around it so much that now you're maybe just coming to a point to where you're being shown that this isn't your home, meaning that heartbreak, that staying in that heartbreak has been hindering you. And maybe you haven't even realized that you've been staying in it. And so this is kind of to show you that as well. But yeah, so mentality, visions, and creative. So it can be any subject. And, you know, some of you maybe, I mean, vaguely work related. Some of you, it's relationships. It sounds like a relational living situation. But some of you, it's also, you know, past traumas and wounds and things like that need healing. And just your paradigm of, you know, what's out there for you needs reworking so that you're not in whatever you do out of a fear of, well, there's nothing better, so I need to squeeze the marrow out of everything I can. So, not a scarcity mentality, basically. You're supposed to get out of this scarcity mentality. And I say that, but some of you, it may be a scarcity mentality in one area of your life, but then like in money, maybe it's not, or vice versa. So it's not like scarcity mentality necessarily like all throughout it, you know, yeah, so. And yeah, just, as always, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what resonated, what didn't. I love to hear from you guys. Yeah. Pile 4, this is your pile. You picked the one with the sunstone on it. Sunstone is really good for confidence. Helps with wise leadership, motivation, and manifesting your creative desires. I don't know if you can see, there's like little sparklies. And then also it helps with seasonal affective disorder. Jeez, the second one the last pile I threw it too on the other one. It inspires clearer thinking, it brings warmth and strength to relieve stress, and it activates light body development. Okay, so let's get started. Let's do the tarot cards first. That is not. Okay, so, and I don't read reversals. So 4 of coins, here, I'll show it. Knight of Cups. And 5 of Swords. Interesting, okay. Wow, okay, so generally 4 of coins is like holding on to, you know, it's not a scarcity mentality always, but it's that mentality of like, I'm going to hold on to what I have, and because I don't really know if I'm going to get better, or, you know, you know what I mean? It is kind of a scarcity mentality. Capricorn signs right there too. But the thing with it is, it's like when you do that, you know, you block energy flow, because the way law of attraction works is you bring yourself into a place to trust the universe, that the universe is going to provide for you. So if you're in this mentality of, I need to hold on to this because I don't know what's next, and I don't know what's coming next, I don't know if it's as good, then the good stuff quit coming, or they do come and you don't see it because you're too busy holding on and keeping your hands full or your schedule full or whatever, and then you don't actually see the good. So this is a scarcity mentality, but it's also like holding on. So sometimes, you know, it happens like because you felt something was so good, but you didn't know, or you didn't trust that it could get better, or you didn't trust that it wouldn't leave you. For some of you, maybe that's the mentality of, okay, you might have gotten to a place in yourself with your, with monetary things and with material stuff of, okay, this is so great. But then from there, you might have kind of went to a place of, well, okay, well, you know, I don't want it to go again. I don't want it to leave me. You know, I've had this happen before, you know, that type of thing. Whether you have had it happen before or not. A Knight of Cups is really emotional, psychic, intuitional. It's movement. It's like passionate movement of, okay, I'm you know, just like fully heart in everything. But it's really, it's kind of like your heart on your sleeve type situation. And not necessarily always a good thing either. Like sometimes that's an immature thing. Sometimes that's, you know, too quick without actually understanding the real values because you're so stuck in your emotions. So it's not a bad thing. At least I don't see it as a fully bad thing, but I also don't see it as a fully good thing. It's just, it's, you know, I always see with this card, and I see it right now, so I'm going to say it. Yeah, okay. I see this. I see like this hand like this holding on to something. I know it's not a hand. I know that's the fish and all that, but I just see that. And it makes me think of like how this is, and it's the concept of like holding on to the moment. And like, so like as far as like, forget this card. I know this is actually paralleling that card. But when it comes to the Knight of Cups, what I was saying about the emotional, a lot of times it's like, you know, you only see, you know, it's almost like horse blinders, you know, or horse, I don't know what those things are called. Blinders, I guess. I don't know. Binocular goggles, whatever, where you only see one place, what's in front of you, what you're so passionate about, but you don't see the real picture. You don't see the logical, or you only see that moment in time kind of thing sometimes when you get to that emotional place. So I feel like for this specific reading, what I'm seeing is it is like this so detail oriented, where it's like so focused on one little part that you don't realize there's a whole ocean out there. So focused on one little part that you don't realize there's all these possibilities. So I feel like whatever, like if this is all you, I'm not sure yet, I'm still going through, but it's a situation where it's like you've been so focused, like you've taken your mentality, whether you've taken this mentality and brought it into this, or this is just how you are and you're moving in that. You have this and it's moving that. And I feel like this is what's moving this. I think it's just clarity on that, of the holding on. So you seem really passionate and you seem really gung-ho about something. And for some of you, it is a relationship situation. But I mean, we have all that right now. So, but some of you, it could be relational. But the thing is what's backing that relational is this mentality. So for some of you, that's, you know, that could be romantic situation, but it also could be just relational, how you work with people. You might be super passionate and super like gung-ho, but also like really quick to connect with people. But it might be because you're afraid you're going to lose it and not have that opportunity again. So it might be that this is what drives this. Or you're in these situations right now and you actually have a money situation driving it like that, for maybe a small group of you. But what's funny is because the Five of Swords is like, the Five of Swords is mental, and it's mental and verbal. I feel like this is all you, and these are all the parts what's coming out. But it's almost like fighting your place, or fighting your stance, I guess. Fighting your position, even if you know it's a losing battle. And it's not like, oh, I'm just going to do it and I'm going to be brave. It's literally like, it's almost an obsessive energy of, I have to put this out there, even if, you know, no one, it's not going to make any kind of difference or anything. I have to put this out there. This is who I am. But sometimes that kind of feels like talking to hear your own voice talk. Or to hear your own voice, and that's not for all of you, But sometimes that kind of energy is that obsessive to where it doesn't feel like the other people matter, at least when, you know, for the other people themselves might not feel like they always matter, and they feel like you're just kind of just trying to have your say. So I feel like this is really what you're doing. Like, you're coming with this scarcity mentality of, what if I lose this? What if I lose out? What if I lose this opportunity? And then you're taking it to this of, okay, I need to jump on everything, and I need to move quickly, and I'm so passionate about this, I'm so emotionally invested. And then it goes to this place of, I'm going to put everything out there, and it doesn't matter. No, it's almost like, this literally to me looks like steamrolling somebody. So I don't know, maybe some of you are dealing with a situation where this situation you're dealing with, or with a person, or with whatever, and people are seeing you like that, and you're wondering, like, why do they think I'm like this? Why don't they think I have heart? And it's not you don't have heart, you do have heart. But this is why, because there's so much passion, but then out of a fear place, and then out of a, I gotta put everything out there, otherwise I'm gonna lose, but I have to hear my voice, but kind of some of you it is that. So I feel like this is just kind of telling you, like, this is what other people are receiving from you, whether they see that this is the reasons or not. This is what people are responding to, is all of that. And so it's a matter of, you probably need to kind of re-question, you know, there's some healing that needs to be done there. You need to realize there is a full ocean there. There is a full situation. And that's the thing. Like, it's almost like with, like, the law of attraction, when you trust the universe, that the universe is going to bring you more, the universe brings you more. You know, the more you change your mentality, you become open to receive those opportunities. You quit holding on to the not menial, is that the word I'm looking for? You quit holding on to the breadcrumbs. You quit holding on to, like, it's almost like if you had, like, all these breadcrumbs, right? And you filled your hands with breadcrumbs and completely filled them, and there's, like, full breadcrumbs, right? And then someone's trying to offer you a piece of bread, but you're, like, so staring at your breadcrumbs that you don't even see, like, this whole baguette coming at you, and you're just like, whoa, you know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's like, those breadcrumbs are awesome, that's great, but there's more the universe is trying to give you, and the more you hold on to that instead of, and it's okay to hold on to that. Like, if you have the mentality that this is amazing because every little thing given to you is amazing, and you're going to keep getting amazing things, then you're going to keep getting amazing things, and when it's time to let go of that, you'll let go. But if you have the mentality of, I don't want to let go because I don't want to lose this, and this feels so good, and I miss this, and, you know, if you have that mentality of fear of not getting it again, or fear of not continuing, then that's when you'll get stuck. That's when that negative energy happens, to where you're holding on to this, and then things are coming through and you're oblivious because you're too busy deciding that you know what's out there, when all that you're seeing is your hands. Does that make any sense? I hope that makes sense to you guys. So really, it's a matter of, it's not necessarily that it's an easy fix, because everything has its layers, and everything's healing, and everything's different stuff to work with. But it's showing you what's going on in you. It's showing you, like, what your problem has been, and it's showing you where it started. Maybe where it started. Just that mentality. I mean, look at him. He's holding it, but he's, like, looking like it's all. And some of you might be afraid, that it could be taken away from you, because he's guarding it almost. So it's like he's holding on to it, but he's guarding it. He's, like, looking, like, making sure no one else comes and tries to swipe it up. So it's that idea of, some of you may be operating in that, and that's what's kept blessings and abundance and just manifesting in general at a halt, or less than where you could be right now. And something with this too is, he feels really like everything's kind of just thrown out there. It's like, okay, I'm gonna, you know, it's almost like, you know, throwing everything out there and seeing what sticks type thing. And it's a mental thing. So that's what, you know, mentally you're coming in with, or verbal. But it feels like he's kind of cocky about it. Like, I just feel like the energy with this right now, with all this, is this person's really, like, you may be really cocky about this. And some of you, okay, some of you, you're dealing with somebody else, and this is somebody else, and this is who you are, and you're holding on to this because you feel like they're just like, they're going to throw everything out. They're going to throw what they want out. They're going to throw it all. And, you know, and you feel like you might not even matter. And that's why you're holding on to everything, because you feel like all you're getting is breadcrumbs, and you don't trust that you're worth more than that. There's a small few of you though. I don't know if this is really a fully relationship for everybody, but I do feel like for some of you, this is the other person. I guess so, this one. Yeah. Okay, hold on, I'll show you. That's weird. That's again, visions, views of yourself. Like, who are you? What are you? What do you deserve? She's here. She has the star on her, but then she's looking at herself in a mirror, but then she's got a picture of either her or her in her youth with that star on her. And it's like all of it's just reflecting herself, and she's focusing on herself, but she's like, it's like she's focusing on that star. She has this like gorgeous gown. I mean, I don't know. It's not, I don't know. For that time frame, it's probably a gorgeous gown. But regardless, it looks silky, is, you know, opulent, everything, all this stuff, and she's just focusing on the star on her face. And it's like, and for some of you, that might be a negative thing. Some of you, it's you're focusing on the negative, and that's what keeps you in this mentality of only what you see is what's right there, because you've always focused on the negative you see. But some of you, it's even focusing on the positive you see and thinking that that's all there is. And then deciding that you need to frame it, and you need to take pictures of it, and you need to like remind yourself of it all the time. And it's like, if you're trying to remember it and have it as a keepsake because it's amazing, that's one thing. But if it's like, it's amazing and you're trying to do that because you don't ever think that kind of thing's gonna happen again, that's when you got a problem. And it's funny because this is kind of similar to these colors. And then, and one more thing too with this is like, there's like all these okay, that's a picture frame, empty picture frame. That's a regular picture, I think. Picture, mirror, I think. So it's like she has all these things like on top of each other, like the mirror, like mirrors and picture frames. And it's like after a while you stop being able to see, like, is this part of the mirror or part of the frame behind it? Not frame, part of the window behind it, and the frame is hollow. You know, it's a matter of like, you might be doing that. You might have done that so much that's like you stop being able to see what's you, what's the other person, and what's around you, because you're just been in this mentality that you're only worth so much. So you've allowed other people to reflect themselves back at you. Or you've allowed other people to be your reflection, or you've allowed your outside environment to be your reflection as to what you are. But it's like been kind of weird because you have some are windows, some are empty. It's empty too. Yeah, there's a lot to that. So 7 of Cups. A 7 of Cups is usually like a matter of choices, but it's also compassion. It's like sometimes it's hard to make the choices you need to make because you're so tied to the people or the situations that each choice will have as an outcome. So that's why it's so hard to make the choice sometimes. And she's like all caught up too. Like she's all caught up to like Is this a snake? I think there's like a snake under her here. Yeah, she's all in that, and then like, so she's caught in it, and he's caught in it. But yeah, it's this idea of, I think you've been stagnant in these situations. And some of you, this is you too. Because you've been holding on so much that you're kind of just like, you've been kind of dying there. And you might not know it because you think you're holding on to something amazing. But there's better for you. There's more for you. There's growth for you. So as soon as you get out of that mentality and you come to a place of trusting again in the universe and what the universe is going to provide to you, then it starts coming back. But yeah, part of it is just sitting and staring at these choices or staring at this one thing and then like missing the whole thing. And part of it is because of connecting too much to the possibilities, connecting too much to the consequences of each choice, because you're not seeing yourself clearly in who you are. So then it's like, then you allow yourself just to be satisfied and be happy and thinking that's all that there is for you with breadcrumbs. And this is the Hush Tarot. The whole deck is like basically various states of decay. So, I mean, it's not like that's the only card like that. Like all of them are like that. But this deck is so weird. It's dark and kind of morbid, but it's also really like intimate too, and really earthy, if that makes sense. But there's like this whole element of, in that motion, in that movement together, they were so stuck together that, like, I guess what, like a snake got them or something, I don't know. Or they're being eaten up by the snake after the fact. And then there's a bird right there too. Oh, there's more birds. There's a bird there. Yeah. So, yeah, you don't want to get so stuck in it that you lose yourself because you're so focused on what you think you need to keep. Destiny. There you go. But it's like destiny, and then here's the different parts of yourself. You have to understand that you're not just one time. You're all different times. You now might look totally different than you tomorrow, and vice versa. And so it's a constant cycle. It's a completion, like 10, is a number of completion. Yeah, Wheel of Fortune too, so it's like, just because what you see right now is what you see, doesn't mean that's all there is. And that's for the positive and the negative. Just because if there's something negative right now, it doesn't mean that's all there is. And if there's something positive right now, it doesn't mean that's all there is. Like, there's seasons, there's cycles, there's different times. Like, connect to source, exactly. Go within to discover what needs to be done. Create the shift required to attract what you want, exactly. Because right now you've been attracting less than what, you're supposed to be attracting. And it's not so much like because you're supposed to versus you're not. No, it's just that there's so much more for you, and you've just held on and limited yourself. So this is literally saying, create the shift inside that you want. Connect to source. Create the shift inside required to attract what you want. I mean, law of attraction, exactly what I just said. Yeah, so I hope that resonated for you guys. Anything? Yeah. So yeah, let me know what did and what didn't. As always, remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you next time. And yeah, I'll have the decks that I used in all the readings listed in the description below.